You want to tell me what the that was?
Ha ha!
Abraham,
Here I am.
take now your son, your only son whom you love, Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I will tell you.
Early the next morning, Abraham got up and loaded his donkey. He took with him 2 of his servants and his son Isaac. When he had cut enough wood for the burnt offering, he set out for the place God had told him about. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. He said to his servants, "Stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. We will worship, and then we will come back to you." Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and placed it on his son Isaac, and he himself carried the fire and the knife. As the 2 of them went on together, Isaac spoke up, "Father." "Yes, my son." "The fire and wood are here. Where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" "God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." And the 2 of them went on together.
When they arrived at the place where God had told him to go, Abraham built an altar and arranged the wood on it. Then he tied his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. And Abraham picked up the knife to kill his son as a sacrifice.
Not too many people have ever asked this question, I think because we've been so influenced in the West by our stunning paintings of this moment by Caravaggio and Rembrandt. But the question that has to be asked is, how old was Isaac when this was going on? How old was he? He's called a lad, but in Hebrew the word lad is used, my goodness, from those who are 12 years old all the way up to 30 years old. Most exegetes will put him, the tradition actually says, we're so used to seeing him as a child, 10 years old, 12 years old, in the paintings, that we're a little shocked when we think of him as being 20. What if I were to tell you that the traditional understanding is 36 or 37 years old, because we're told in the very next chapter, chapter 23, and Sarah's life was 127 years, precisely after this event. That would make Isaac 36, 37. And so then now you have to think, my goodness, this changes things. I mean, let's face it, if Abraham is 114 and Isaac's 14, let's face it, that's still very difficult to put a child on an altar and bind him and offer him up as an offering. But imagine a 20-year-old man, a 36, 37-year-old man. He has to submit to the will of his father. So this isn't only a test of Abraham here. In some ways, it's a test of Isaac. Does he trust in his father? Does he trust in his God? Is he going to be obedient to his father? Does he understand that he is going forth in precisely the path that his father is kind of paving for him here? And I want you to think about that. If this is a passivity, this is a very active passivity. This is a willful passivity. In some ways, we say it's Abraham offering Isaac to God, but in some ways, we also have to understand that it would be Isaac himself offering himself to his father and simultaneously offering himself to God.
But the angel of the Lord came and said,
Abraham, Abraham,
Here I am.
do not stretch out your hand against the lad, and do nothing to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me.
Then Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught by its horns in a thicket. So he took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering in place of his son. Abraham named the place Yahweh-Yireh, which means the Lord will provide. To this day, people still use that name as a proverb. On the mountain of the Lord it will be provided. Then the angel of the Lord called again to Abraham from heaven.
Because you have done this thing, and have not withheld your son, your only son, indeed I will greatly bless you, and I will greatly multiply your seed as the stars of the heavens, and as the sand which is on the seashore, and your seed shall possess the gate of their enemies. In your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned to his young men, and they arose and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham lived at Beersheba.